Hey guys, Matt Lemke here with Gamer Goggles, gamer-goggles.com. And as you all know, Pathfinder playtest is over. Now it's time to look at the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Core Rulebook. I hope to do this 644-page beast in 15 minutes. It by no means is going to be a completely comprehensive review. That is something I'm going to do at a later date. Anyway, I'll be right back. Alright, hey, I'm back, and like I said, this is a beast of a book. I'm pretty sure I said it was 644 pages. I lied, it's 638. But this book is only $59.99, has a really cool goblin on it. Not to mention a battle that it looks like these characters are going to lose. Oh, hi kitty. Inside, we will waste no time and we will start moving through the book. Table of contents, cover art, interior artists, all that fun stuff. That is actually one thing I was going to talk about, is I did notice that there is a slight change in the art. Not so much that it's still influenced, it got the same influence, but there's something a little bit different about the style, which is good. Pathfinder's gotten a facelift. The art should be a little different, I think. And I know everything. So, Chapter 1. It's just an introductory chapter of what is role-playing. Basically, you move through stuff, encounters, exploration, you learn all that good stuff, right? And then it moves into how to use this book. And that loud noise was my cat. They've done a lot of interesting things in the book, or they have cool stuff like this, which is no surprise with Paizo. They do that all the time, right? And then from the introduction, you move into character creation. And one of the things I want to note about character creation is the character sheet has changed, which is probably a good thing, since most people didn't like the other character sheet. I was alone. Anyway, so one of the best things I think they did on this character sheet is they put down the proficiencies there. I have no idea how many times during the playtest I had to look that stuff up because it was new and I could not remember it. Then they have the modifiers here and the actual scores there. Name, player name, experience points, ancestry, heritage, background, and class. What else is different here? Anyway, we'll come back to the character class here in a second. So, one of the things that has changed a little bit in the book is they went from the shorter description of character creation into a longer description, which is now, so it starts over here after they talk about the ability score overview. And it starts here with the character's concept, which is basically class, ancestry, and heritage, and background. And then one of the things they do, like I said, they did a lot of things that I like about this book, and this is one of those. They did these little inserts all over. So right here, they have Ancestries. It's a little overview in a half a page with cool art that gives you the boosts, gives you the flaw, and then it does the same thing for all the classes. You might notice that this guy is now a champion. I mean, this girl, sorry. This girl is now a champion, and when I said guy, I meant this class, instead of being called a paladin. Although, if we take a look at it right quick, we go to the champion, which is after the bard, you will see that the paladin is still listed as the lawful good champion. There's a redeemer and a liberator, which we will get into that during character creation because I'm actually going to create an elven champion. Alright, next page. One of the things they did change is the way that things are mapped. For example, in Step 3. Step 3 affects a lot of different things on the character sheet. So you can see the 3 there, the 3 there, 3 down here in the corner, 3 by perception, and the 3 by hit points. They did a much better job at showing you how to flow through creating a character using the character sheet. I'm still going to do a video on it. That is probably going to be next week. Character creation explanation is now roughly 6 pages with finishing details on the 1 page and then leveling up Well, they have the sample character overview with a brief synopsis here with all of the different pages or the different steps followed by leveling up. And then it goes into ancestries and backgrounds. The only thing that is different really from the core rulebook that actually kind of came out during the playtest, I don't think it's new news, is heritages are now built right into it. So for example, if you choose a dwarf and he's an ancient blood dwarf, dwarven heroes of old could shrug off their enemies' magic, and some of that resistance manifests in you. So it has a trigger. You attempt a saving throw against magical effect, but you haven't rolled yet. Innate resistance magic surges before you, slowly ebbing you down. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus. And those things are built into every single race. Humans have ethnicities, which is basically where they're from within the realm of the inner sea, and they also have the heritages of half elf, half orc, etc. So if you just look at it like this, it might be a little bit confusing, but variety of human ethnic groups many of which have origins in distant lands, etc. Regardless of what lands or home they're in, their human ethnicities are page 430, chapter 8. And that is, well, we'll get to that, but real quick, I'll just show you what I'm getting at as to what they do. They're kind of like an extra background step, we'll say. So if you're Nidalese, they tend towards gray, ashy skin tones, white or gray-black hair, and they have access to the Shadow Tongue language. So it gives you a little bit more flavor for your character design. And then the different heritages they have at first level, or at creation, I should say right now, are skilled heritage, half orc, half elf, and versatile heritage. Now I truly hope that the half elf, the half orc branches out into like half goblin, half gnome eventually, in half dwarven. I mean, it would make sense to me. And I think a lot of people actually want to see that, so I'd like to see it done. And then that's really all there is that I caught in my first read about that. There are, though, 35 backgrounds. I'm pretty sure that's more backgrounds than were in the playtest. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 more. I could be wrong on that. And then languages is the next, and then classes. So the only thing that aside from the paladin becoming a champion, which I think was a good change, there's not a whole lot of changes here, but they did some really good additions to the book. Like if you wanted to play a mutagenist, they kind of have an outline here for you in one of the sidebars of the alchemist class. So to play a mutagenicist, you would prioritize intelligence and strength, and focus on constitution as well. And then your skills are listed here that you would take. You would have a research field of mutagenicist, and your starting feat would be an alchemical familiar. And then the higher level feats are there as to when you should take them. The other thing that has changed, let's actually take a look at this real quick. Let's look at whoever I stop at first. Right here. Oh. So this is a bard, I believe. Yep, this is a bard. So bard skill feat, bard feat, skill feat, second level, and a general feat. Okay. So at the end of the classes, they have. That's a great picture, by the way. Archetypes. And archetypes are basically your multi-classes and how they work. So some I think are going to work better than others. So if you take a wizard type or a caster, you're going to have to get to a point where you can take basic spellcasting, whether they call it basic spellcasting or not. We'll go over it with the wizard here in a second. So while the feats are available at 4th level, they may not always, you may not be able to take it based off of how you've built your character. And basically what the basic feat does at 4th level, it grants you a 1st level spell slot, then at 6th level, it grants you a 2nd level spell slot. Not a lot of spells. And then expert spellcasting makes that a little bit better, and master spellcasting makes it better, but you're still way limited on your spells compared to what a wizard would be of an equal level. And I think part of that is because the focus seemingly in the core rulebook for 2nd edition is that your primary class is your first class. So, and what I'm saying by that is, if the way the rules are written now, if you take a ranger and you want to make him a wizard, he would be significantly different than if you started by playing with a wizard first, because you're always going to get the hit points from your, I'll call it a favorite class, because they're always going to be predominant. You basically earn your feats off of the chart that is given to you for a particular character. So if you wanted to become a multi-class goblin alchemist, you would follow this chart for getting your feats. And the addition would be, you would be able to substitute your feat, I think it's your general feat, to be able to take the spells. And basically anytime you take a archetype, you start by getting this basic skill section here. And obviously it's different for every class. And then from there we move into skills. There are 17 skills plus general skills, and the only thing I really wanted to point out is earn income is a lot better than crafting ever was. Earn income allows you basically to use your skills, depending on what you and the GM decide on, to generate an income. So if you have a lore skill, you can do research, or maybe write a book, a research book, or you can craft, or you can perform. If you're a bard, you can dance and sing to make money. They got a few different examples here, and then they have over here. Actually, this is it. This is one of the better examples. This is really good. They have a guy making tea at a low level, trying to do something harder than he should have tried, and he failed. And then he decided, okay, I'll just serve tea, and he makes a good bit of money. And then there's good old Lem here, who's a 16th level bard, and he gets to do something. And with 30 days of downtime, he gets a success, and he makes 200 gold pieces a day. So there's a lot of variety there, and you can earn quite an income if you're fruitful. And then there's recall knowledge. Recall knowledge is kind of interesting, and we will talk about that when we are doing things with gameplay later on. And then the only other thing, we can move into feats. There's, oops, I skipped over feats. Feats is a relatively short chapter. There are a lot of feats here. Of course, I don't believe I have a favorite feat yet. Hi, kitty. Hold on, guys. Let me get rid of a cat. Okay, I'm back. All right. And then equipment. Equipment is basically unchanged. The ideas and the concepts are still there. There is a little bit more description on things like attacking with the shield and shield description, but it's really subtle. Critical specialization effects, and then the breakdown of the class kits and the equipment cost on them, and what's basically in them. And then after that, we move into spells. Most of the changes that happened in spells, from what I've seen, have been cosmetic to things like actions. Like heal changed a little bit. If you were unaware, I actually did hear that heal has become a... it has changed a little bit. I was going to read you the action thing if I can find it here real quick. Basically, heal yourself for a single action, target somebody with a secondary action, and use the bursting healing effect for 3 actions. And then after that, you've got the Age of Lost Omens, which is actually one of the... I didn't read through all of this yet, but the Age of Lost Omens is the world background. And it's actually, they do a great job with covering a lot of material very quickly. So they cover this, they cover Beyond the Inner Sea. They started introducing us, we're going beyond the realms of the Inner Sea with the Core Rulebook. And they have little excerpts of the, Epsilon, Starstone Isle, the Broken Lands, Golden Road, Eye of Dread. And I didn't really read these. I'm going to get into these a little bit more when I do the full review. They're actually they're pretty short. They have a brief overview of all of the different cultures and ethnicities that are playable right now within the book. They also have a breakdown of the regional languages and of beasts, monsters. And then they move into the factions. And they do about a paragraph on most of the major factions. So if you were playing let's see, where is it? Character that was a member of the Pathfinder Society, you've got a little bit of information here on how to make that work. And then they move into deities. And each one of these has a breakdown with the edicts, the anathema, the alignments that follow, the benefits. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more for you, make that a little bit more readable. The benefits, the divine skill, favored weapon, and the domains, of course. Then here's another chart on the domains. Let's see, what page am I on? Page 444, we have moved into playing the game. And one of the things that was neat here is, well, one, I like the dark brown print a lot to set things off. They did a really good job with that. And I find the print as a whole in the book easier for me to read. I don't know if it's a softer matte or a softer gloss, but I had a harder time reading the playtest rulebook. But basically, GM has the final say. Just little bitty rules that we should all know and follow. Specific overrides, rounding, multiplying, duplicate effects, and ambiguous rules. And then one of the next biggies that I thought was impressive was on page 454, right here. They have a breakdown of all the conditions, which in a second you might decide is a little bit moot. I like the way they did it more than anything. It was one of the first things I saw when I opened the book was this. It has a description of every one of the conditions. And then as you move through the actions, it starts talking about how to play the game. There's a list of 24 actions and reactions in this particular, in the core rulebook. I think that is a couple more than there were in the playtest. I didn't count them, or maybe I should have. And then it goes through the basics of setting up your turn, how to roll initiative. Here's one that I think is, if you're new to role-playing and Pathfinder, these are good sections for you. Triggered events, triggering an attack of opportunity, things of that nature, counting your movement. Even if you've played 3.5 or Pathfinder 1.0, these are still good because it really helps visualize the things that have changed. Section on game mastering, which basically helps GMs set up their story and their campaign. And then after that, we move into crafting and treasure. I want to do a whole video on crafting, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on here. There is the basic rules are here. Where were they? So it starts off talking about investing in your magic items, using them, how to activate them, limited activations, etc. Which I will say, I do kind of feel that the new Pathfinder system is dumbed down with magic equipment a little bit, or not dumbed down, but lower magic. It's not. It doesn't seem as readily accessible as it was before, and of course that depends. That's going to vary from GM to GM. And then there's a list of magic items here that are, you know, popular. Like for example, there's a bag of holding in here. They didn't do away with it, which I kind of thought they were going to. And then in back, right after or right before the character sheet, is probably one of the smartest things I think they did in the book. They created an appendix that was for conditions. So you have all the conditions set up here. It tells you exactly what they do, what their effects are. It's about 4.5 to 5 pages. And then after that, you've got your character sheet, and you have a full index. And again, when I first saw this, I was like, oh man, this is so different from the other one. And then I looked at the other one, and I'm like, it's not different, but it feels so different to me. And I think it's just because the bold print is better, the print is better, it's on a slightly whiter background. And so it makes things like everything that's in bold and the little action icons and stuff pop out. All right, so I already mentioned that the book is $59.99. It is a thick, thick book. That's 2d6s from Q Workshop. So, it is pretty thick. So my only concern about the book is it going to hold up to traveling? Outside of that, the layout is pretty phenomenal. They've done some really great things. They've introduced some things to really step up the playtest rulebook, and I even think they step up stuff from the core rulebook. It's modern. It's a modern book. Sometimes when I hold their books, I kind of feel like, man, if this didn't have this much weight, I would think it's an app. They really are user-friendly. And of course, I love the art, which this book is art light for as many pages that are in it. I believe it's mostly text. There's not a lot of fluff in it. It's mostly the rules, how to game master, how to handle encounters, and play the game. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day. I hope to see you soon. Like, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you want to hear about. I want to, be a part of this community, build it. I am pretty much sold on 2nd edition, and I'm here to help promote it and help you guys learn. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to get an answer. Thanks. Have a great day.
Hi, guys. Meet the Nibbles, who's gonna go down. She just decided not to go down my back, so we'll do this for her so she's comfy. Thanks for watching my video, and I appreciate it. Please hit the like button and share it if you know somebody who might be interested. And of course, there's always Twitter and the Facebook thingy, and soon I have a newsletter coming. That'll be down there or in a link below, and my kitty cat loves that idea. So anyway, there was one more thing. Oh yeah, subscribe. Be a part of my community, our community. Let's make it grow together. See you guys at a con somewhere, or a local store, or if I'm driving through the country, maybe a game club. I don't know, you're not going to go knock down my camera. Bye, guys.